we are back, and today we start machines. So today we're starting with a crusher. Now I've got everything else crafted up except for the machine itself here and a few pipes. So this is the crusher recipe. Go ahead and grab that. Everything else is already over at the factory, so we will look at the recipes for that when we get there. But before we do that, we need to get a few pipes. So we need to make some curved pipes. And we do that by hitting the anvil on the big side. And that gives us our curved pipes. Now we also am going to need a bending cylinder. Now the sides of the anvil is a bending cylinder, but we can't put pipes together on an anvil. So we do have to make it for the pipes. For right now, there is another way of doing it that will not require a bending cylinder, but for our first few pipes here, we're going to make a bending cylinder. So we need a saw, a file, and a hammer. Saw, file, hammer, bending cylinder. Alright, so now we need to just do this, and that will make us small pipes. Now we're going to be running 2 boilers. Easiest way to do this here is steam. And this will show you the boilers and the engines and turbines. We're going to be using an engine. We're going to be using bronze boilers, and they're going to put out 48 steam per tick. This small pipe can handle a bandwidth of 150 liters per tick. So that is more than enough for what we need. We could probably get away with copper, but since we got the bronze, we're going to use the bronze. So we've got 2 boilers. So we're going to need 2 of those. And we also need about 3 of them for water, which I will explain when we get over there. Now, you may ask, what's the difference between the bandwidth and the capacity? Well, with GregTech fluid pipes, there is a sloshing mechanic. The capacity is the max that the pipe can hold, but the bandwidth is how much fluid can actually pass through that pipe in a tick. So even though it can hold 300 liters, it cannot pass all of it through. It can only pass 150 liters through per tick. So for the most part, you're always going to want to worry about the bandwidth of the pipe. The only time you're going to worry about the capacity is if it's for something that needs a capacity of 1,000 liters, a full bucket. Then the capacity is what you will worry about. Now, with pipes, they have different categories of what they can handle. Some can handle only basic liquids. We'll look up pipes here. So your most basic of pipe is a wood pipe. You should remember me making these for my water pipe to get to the factory. We used large in that case. But if you look at it, says melts down when stored heat is too much, 340 Kelvin. Causes damage when touched while active and flammable. Now, if you look at the copper, it says melts down at 1696. So it can handle things hotter than the wood can. Also says can handle gases. That means it's not a porous material like wood is, and gases will not be expelled through the pipe. If you try to put a gas in a wood pipe, it will expel the gas out. You'll hear a sound, not good. So for anything that's a gas, you'll want to make sure you use a metal or plastic type pipe, not wood. Also, anything that has heat, you'll want to use a metal, plastic probably not, but a metal pipe. And then depending on how hot it is, depends on which metal you want to go with. Also, each different material has a different bandwidth and capacity. But you also have, before we get into that, you also have pipes like the Invar here, which doesn't have the tag that it'll hurt you when active. Same with the aluminum, does not have that tag. Those are your two heat resistant pipes. So if something is hot going through them, as long as it's not too hot to break the pipe, it won't hurt you. Now, with the wood, you can't really put anything in there of any real heat, so they won't really hurt you if you touch them while active, as long as the fluid in it is not above radiant temperature, 300K ish, you're not going to be hurt by it. So water in a wood pipe will not hurt you. But if you run into a copper pipe, say with steam in it, it will hurt you. Same with bronze and most of these other pipes, except for aluminum and Invar. Now, the other type of pipe is your acidic pipes, ones that can handle acids. Chrome is one of them. The main one you will be using for acids is stainless steel. And then you also have tungsten, which is also able to handle acids. So you need to worry about with your pipes how much room the pipe has, if what you're handling is a gas or if it's just a regular liquid, and if it is acidic or not. And don't worry, all the fluids will tell you if they're acidic or if they're not, if you do not know. Now, as far as capacity, you have things from tiny wood, which is only 25 liters a tick, and 50 liters capacity, all the way up to tungsten steel, which is 4,800 liters a tick, 9,600 capacity. You have carbon, which is 12,000 liters. You have adamantium, which is 2,400 liters. And then there are some other pipes for other mods. If you have those mods installed, they will show up. That will be as good or as bad as some of the other ones. All depends. Now, that is fluid pipes. There are also item pipes. We will discuss those at a different time when we're actually using them. And you also have quadruple and nanuple pipes. We're not going to get into those today. They're basically 4 pipes in one block or 9 pipes in one block. But they do take a little bit of understanding to make them work properly, so we will leave them out of the discussion for today. So right now we're just going to get this crusher hooked up. Let's go to the factory. And in here I have some huge wood fluid pipes to extend our water. Have our steam engine. Now I will warn you right now This is not a good steam engine to run for a crusher. It can do 96 steam a tick approximately. And we're going to be putting 48 times 2 steam per tick into it. Problem being that it will overload this engine because it's going to run it at its max. And if you run a steam engine at its max, it will overheat. So this is not a good setup that I'm doing. The only reason I'm doing this setup is because I don't have the steel to make a steel engine. That is what I would normally do. But due to the fact that we are still limited by dark ash, I can't make a steel engine yet because I do not have the steel. So we're going to do this basically so I can crush some ores, use some coal to do so, double my ores up, and make some more of that dark ash that we need. So first things first, we can move our cauldron out of the way. We will run this pipe up and into this hole right here. And as long as you place the pipe off of the pipe, it will automatically open the connection so you don't have to use a wrench. Now you'll see since I placed that one in the floor first and then this one's connected to that one, it did not connect to that one. So we need to connect it. While we're down here, go ahead and grab my mixing bowl as well, and we'll close that pipe. Now, burning boxes will burn anything that is within 4 blocks of them when they are active, unless there is a floor. Walls don't count, only floors. So what we're going to do, that pipe is completely blocked by the floor, and so it will not burn. We're going to put 2 burning boxes here with these 2 boilers here, and then we're going to connect this pipe into these 2 boilers. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and now we will have water inside of our boiler. And I forgot to grab my magnifying glass, so I need to go get that. Let's go ahead. Before I do so, though, I'm going to pop that out. Wood fluid pipe there. There. Then I can get rid of them. Open both of those. Put my mixing bowl down. And my cauldron down. By the way, do not try to connect a cauldron to a pipe without GregTech 6. It will not work. Greg specifically hacked the cauldron to make that work. So that is a GT6 only thing. There's my magnifying glass. Let's go check and see that we have water inside the boiler. It's always a good idea to have your magnifying glass on you, just to make sure all the connections got made properly. There we go, no calcification in the boiler, and 4,000 liters of water in each one. So we're good to go there. Now, we want to put, I need one more pipe. Let's go make one more of those. Probably should have looked at that while I was down there, right? Y'all don't mind a little walk back to the hole though, right? Not the 4-hour stream I normally do. While we're here, let's go ahead and grab this coal coke. Another one of those. And wrench has died. Alright, so through the magic of editing, I am now going to make a new wrench. Alright, and there is our new wrench. And let's get our dark ash out. So we've got 8 more small piles. I can make a little more iron. 3 more pieces to be exact. Alright, so we have our pipe, we have our wrench. Let's go set this up. Now I will tell you that if you want to do the setup that I'm doing now with this engine, and you don't want to, go to steel all of us as soon as I will, you can do a lead or an Invar burning box and boiler for the second one. But I don't like using the lead burning box. Let's look this up here. The lead burning box is only 50% efficiency, where the bronze one is 75. So therefore, you're going to waste a lot more of your coal to produce way less power. So 16 heat units versus the 24. And you would pair that up with a lead or Invar boiler. Now, if you look at Invar, it's 100% efficient at the 16 heat units, just the same as lead, just efficient. So you can cross them over between the lead and the Invar. So you can use an Invar burning box with a lead boiler or vice versa. Most of your boiler and burning boxes are going to be the same material. Like bronze is pretty much set with bronze, steel is set with steel. Now there is one that is exactly opposite, and that is chrome and titanium. The titanium burning box puts out 96 units. The chrome one puts out 112. Where if you look at the boiler, they are exactly opposite on the heat units needed. Chrome is 96, titanium is 112. That is not a mistake. That is not a bug. That is because chrome is considered to have a better heat output, if I remember correctly. Titanium can hold better pressure. Don't quote me on that, but this is the way it's intended to be. And something for that reason is why. But most of the rest of them are exactly, bronze for bronze, steel for steel. Interchangeable being tungsten and tungsten steel are exactly the same. The only difference is the burning boxes for them are different in the efficiency. Tungsten has just been buffed up to 100% efficiency, used to be 95, and tungsten steel is 90. So you can use a tungsten burning box with a tungsten steel boiler and it be exactly the same. But if you're worried about that 10% efficiency, you want to use a tungsten burning box. Otherwise, you can use tungsten steel. So hopefully I haven't given you guys too much information for your head to handle today. Now, there is our engine. And engines are basically a kinetic unit machine. They put out what's called KU, kinetic units. And you have a port on the back, which is that gray square. That is where your steam will go in. Has a blue part. That is where the power will go in. And we're going to put our crusher on there. But I will show you first that the crusher has an input on the top. This is your power area, the back here. And on the bottom is another area just like that, but the arrows are going the other direction. See those in a second when I pop it up here. There you go. And there's your output. Now the crusher has no fluids, so there's no fluid in or out. Up the crusher here. So it does come in 4 different flavors. Energy in, as I said, KU a tick in the back, 16 to 64. Items in top, and it says auto. That means it'll automatically pull items from an inventory that is above it. Now, GregTech inventories, it will pull instantly or almost instantly. Minecraft and other mods chests and inventories, it will take a second for it to check it to see if it's there. So whenever possible, use a GregTech chest for your input. Output, as I said, is the bottom. Also is auto, so it will automatically output to a chest below it. It'll actually output right onto the floor if you don't have something there to catch it. So we have coal coke. That is what we're going to be using today for our fuel. And we're only going to put about 12 in each. And we're going to fire them up. Let's go get more fire making materials. Since we only have 2 of these fire starters, chances we're going to get 100% light out of both of them is slim to none. We don't really want one boiler heating up and the other not. Let's see, do we have any? We got 1 match from a zombie. That with us. And I've got a whole bunch of this dry bark, so we'll just take some of that with us. I probably ought to grab something to crush while we're discussing this here. So I have stantonite, cassiterite, zirconium. Let's see, what would I like to... Let's go ahead and do the cobalite, because there's a lot of cobalt tools that I'd like to get making. They last a lot longer than bronze, and we have a lot of bronze we need for machines, so we're going to go ahead and double up our cobalite right now. I will actually be going and mining a bunch of coal. All the coal I've been using up to this point has been found from the desert. So I need to go and actually mine me up some coal. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this bad boy to light. No luck with those yet. Let's go ahead and move these out of the way, because if we stack them above each other like this, they will automatically pop down as we use them. Go, and they are lit. All right, so now we just need to wait till the pressure go up. See a little dial moving there. And as it gets up to pressure, we'll check and make sure that we didn't do anything wrong with the water, which we didn't. And you'll see that the calcification is going up. calcification will go up as the boiler runs on regular water. And as the calcification goes up, the efficiency of the boiler will go down to 50%. You will never lose more than 50% of your steam output due to calcification. And you can remove the calcification with a chisel just by clicking on the front of the boiler. But, big but here, do not do so while it is running or still hot. You will boil to death. Now, there is a heat suit that you can use that will keep you from having this issue, but you will notice that the heat resistant suit is made out of aluminum foil, and you're not going to be getting that anytime soon. So don't try to uncalcify your boiler when it's got heat in it and pressure in it. You'll die. It won't be fun. They'll be wrapping you in bandages and ice cubes for the next month. All right, so our boilers are just about heated up here. All right, they are at top dead center. So now steam will be being produced and coming out into our engine. Now, the engine is only blue. Let's get rid of the waypoint here. You can see it's now cyan. Now, as it heats up, you'll see the engine start running the machine. As of right now, it is not running. It is just heating up. This is a steam engine. It is very slow. It has to get heated up before it will kick in and start engaging. Now, something you do not want to do for an extended period of time, but I am going to do just to show you guys it is possible. You can put a tank or a pipe next to your engine and capture 80% of your distilled water. This is a wooden barrel. It is going to burn. Do not leave it there. Also, don't touch your boilers while they're running. They're hot. They'll burn you. As you can see now, the crusher is running, and our engine is getting to a yellowish color. Eventually, it's going to go red, and it's going to shut off. That's going to be bad. We don't want that. But this will give us a way of using some of our coal and get us some crushed ore before we can make a way of making distilled water. And there you go. It crushed it. We've got 8 and 4. Now, you may say, why did I get 8 crushed out of 1 ore? I didn't. KU machines can do 4 ores at one time, 4 recipes at one time. So this is the output of 4 ores, not 1. As you can see, we went down to 56, not down to 64. Or not down to 63 from 64. Now, you can put a chest here to catch things, although we need an item pipe to do so, as a Minecraft chest will not open underneath a full block, and a machine is a full block. Now you see our engine is just about to shut off, so it is going to stop running here in just a second. I'll show you that when it does, and then we will actually be pulling the burning boxes out so we don't overheat our boilers. Come on. I know you wanna. It ain't gonna run very long without it. Now, if you don't want this stuff coming in your inventory, like if you need to go somewhere, You can put a block there, and that'll block it. It'll keep it inside its inventory. Another thing with steam machines, or all machines, they will run whether they have a recipe or not. So if I pulled this out of here, now there is a recipe in it right now because it pulls the recipe from the inventory, from the input, and puts it into the machine. So pulling it out like with IC2 machines will not stop the machine from doing it. It's still inside the machine. It's still running. But once this gets done, the machine will still run and still take power, even if it doesn't have a recipe. So you don't have to worry about your boilers overpressurizing because the engine cannot output power, because it's still able to take the power and put the power into the machine. See, the animation on the front is still going. That means it's running, but there's not a recipe in there for it to run. Okay, hear that? That means it just overheated. It has now cooled off, and our boilers will now start overpressurizing. So we are going to take out the burning boxes, keep from having an explosion, and let me go grab a hammer, which I forgot to grab. We're going to reset the engine. Now you can reset the engine while it's running. So if you want to stand here, if you want to use my terrible setup here, more power to you. You most definitely can do so, and sit here and babysit it with a wood hammer and just turn it back on. Personally, I wouldn't suggest it. It's boring. But for this first demonstration, since I don't have steel, this is what we're doing. All right, so put our burning boxes back. We'll put another couple pieces in. Drop them on the ground for just a second. All right, and light them back up. And you'll see that the boilers will, I do believe, continue to pressure up. Because the steam engine should be shut off. Yep, there we go. So now we're going to reset the engine. Even make it so you can't reset the engine that way anymore. Used to be able to reset the engine. Oh. We're going to have to take it out and put it back. That will, in fact, reset the engine. We used to be able to restart the engine back in the day. Alright, so side note, you can't reset the engine that way. You have to break it and replace it. Which, if you try to do that over and over, you're going to have a bad day because these are going to keep overheating. Because anytime that engine is not there sucking in that steam, and you know there's excess steam in these boilers right now, it's going to overheat even faster. Because it's going to be trying to take all that steam. It's not going to take more than 128 per tick, but it's going to be forced that much and trying to take that much. So it's going to heat up even faster and overheat even faster. Put that back in there and let's get some more of this crushed up. While we're at it, there's one other thing that I never thought of doing that I really want to try. Let's grab this We're going to put it directly under there. Get that block out of there. And for right now, we're going to take these back out. Let them cool off. I want that. I want to see if this will work. If it works, I will be amazed. Let's drop a little bit of crap in here. Let's go grab one of our wooden pipes. For years I've been playing with this mod. I never once thought of doing this. Where did I put those pipes? There's those pipes. Let's see if this works. If this works, I'm going to be amazed. This will be an early way of automating washing our ores. We can put that there. Put that there. I'm not doing it underneath for a reason. I'm going to put that on there. All right, it just now shut off because it just now ran out of steam. So we're going to put this back in. We're going to have to make a few more fire starters here. If you watch the beginning of this series, you'll know there are much better fire starters. But I had so much of this dried wood laying around in the world, I figured why not use it and get rid of it while I got it. You know what? A fire starter will not do any good if it doesn't have fuel. How about we give it some fuel? Alright, start that one, and now let's see if this will drop our ores right into that water and wash them. And let's go over here, see if the other idea of this is going to be valid or not. We're going to borrow this hopper. We're going to go stick this underneath that cauldron. See if it will pick up the items that are coming out. If it washes them. So we're going to set it to go into that block. Now the stone dust obviously is not going to get washed because, well, it's just stone dust. But you can literally use a dropper to drop ores into a cauldron and wash them. So why wouldn't this work? It dropped it and it washed it. Now, due to the fact that there is no blocks here to keep them contained, it did throw one the wrong direction. But if I did that, it should bounce them right on top. It didn't wash all of them. It only washed one. The other 7 fell through. So, yeah, maybe it's not a valid way of doing it, but it was an idea for a test. It was a neat idea, if nothing else. All right, so I will leave you guys with that. That is my introduction to machines with a absolutely terrible setup. I suggest that you do not try using a bronze engine with 2 bronze boilers. As you can see, it is very hazardous, and you will end up with your engine shutting off and your boilers will blow up. Also, one last thing to note here, I'm using coal coke, which lasts way longer, but I'm only getting a tiny pile of dark ash out of it compared to the small that I'm getting out of the coal. So this is actually wasteful when it comes to the dark ash needed to make the iron. You do not want to turn your coal into coal coke as long as you're stuck on dark ash for making iron. Because now I will need to run 9 of them to get 1 dark ash versus 4, and the coal coke burns for about 4 times as long, if I remember correctly, as the actual coal. So it's double bad, if you want to put it that way. But there you go. That's your crusher. And I am going to get out of here. And when we come back next, I should have, we will look at item pipes and how to set this thing up with chests that will make it run much better. Hopefully I can get some of this cobalite that we crushed up today cooked down to cobalt, make me some new tools, and have enough dark ash to fix some of the issues that we have with our setup here. One last thing, there's the calcification. We got 3.96 and 4.32, so we will need to decalcify them at some point. Now, as they calcify, they will make less steam, so the engine will run longer. But again, this is a terrible setup. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.